Good morning, Sergeant Christian Camarillo, San Jose Police Department, PIO. This morning, we obviously shared a press release with the images of the 3 suspects responsible for the kidnapping of baby Brandon. Right now, the 4 suspects were booked into jail and have charges of kidnapping, conspiracy to commit kidnapping, child abduction, and home invasion. Those charges may change as this investigation goes on. We don't know if all 3 will keep these 4 charges. A lot of investigative work still to be done. We know there's still a lot of questions out there, but one thing I want to emphasize is at the beginning of this incident, the number 1 goal was to get baby Brandon home and back with mom safe. That has been accomplished. Second goal is to hold these 3 suspects accountable to the full extent of the law. So with that being said, there are some parts of the investigation that cannot be revealed yet. We're not ready to share them with the public because we do not want to compromise this investigation. Very, very important to maintain the integrity of this investigation because we want these 3 people to be held fully accountable. Okay, I can confirm for you the female is a family friend. She is the person that went shopping with grandmother. At this time, preliminarily, we believe that that female was in contact with one of the suspects that came in to take the baby. We don't know how long that communication lasted, and then there was a third party identified as well who played some role in this kidnapping is what we understand right now preliminarily. And like I said, these charges can change to certain suspects, right? I mean, for sure, kidnapping on the guy that went in there, grabbed the baby Brandon and left. A couple other things I want to clarify. The initial video that we shared of this person walking with a baby carrier, that was him arriving to the apartment with that baby carrier. We don't believe, Brandon was not in that baby carrier at the time in that video. That was him arriving. He subsequently left later with the baby in that baby carrier. I mean, it's a clear indication that this was pre-planned, premeditated. They had a plan. They executed that day. Thanks to the excellent work of not just our detectives, right? The first people to respond to these scenes are always our patrol officers, right? I've worked units where things are happening. The first people to arrive and respond and to take care of what needs to be taken care of are our patrol folks. Then we start making notifications. Detectives come in. Other units get involved. I mean, this is fantastic work all the way around. Approximately 20 hours after the incident, we had suspects in custody. We had Brandon safe, sound. He did go to the hospital for a little while to get checked out out of an abundance of caution. He was reunited with mom yesterday. I made this plea yesterday privately. I'm gonna do it right now publicly. There is a human component aspect to this incident. Mom is very traumatized right now. She needs her space. She was not able to go home yesterday because there were camera crews camped out there. She couldn't go home to get a change of clothing. I'm going to make the plea publicly now. Please give mom space. I personally met with her yesterday. On your behalves, I asked her if she wanted to talk. She was in tears. She's not interested right now. If that changes later, I will let you know. Okay, I'll take some questions now. Jesse.
Can you tell us 3 suspects? Is it Jose who had the carrier in the video who's walking away from it, and then Yasmania?
Yes, she's the only female.
Lieutenant.
Yes,
She was in contact with him,
we believe so.
and what sparked all this? Why would they want to kidnap a baby?
Another big question. Very good question. Thank you for asking. The motive is still under investigation. That will be revealed. There's court proceedings to come. Still very active. We're probably going to talk to these folks again. Obviously, we need to make sure we keep an open line of communication with our partners at the district attorney's office. So that will all come to light when we can, Jesse.
Was there any indication that they were attempting to leave the area in terms of things packed up to go, or were they going to just take the baby and live nearby somewhere?
We don't know, Len. Again, that'll come out as well too. That was one of the important things that I talked about while this incident was, still active. What I can say is I've been here 24 years and I can't think of an event where there was such a collaborative effort to find Brandon. And by collaborative effort, I mean law enforcement, the community, media, everyone lent a hand in finding baby Brandon. So as soon as we can get you that answer, Len, you'll get it.
Yes, sir. I mean, in the email you sent, you mentioned Guadalupe and Baldomero. I'm assuming they were detained on Monday eve or afternoon, and then the other guy that was holding the baby, which is Carrillo, he was arrested yesterday morning.
Correct.
So you guys had these other two since Monday.
The female, yes. She was the one that I talked about initially, was a witness. She was present when this incident happened. We brought her to the police department. She consented to come down here and keep talking to us. Throughout the interviews and throughout our detectives talking to her, story changed. There was some inconsistencies, things that we key in on. She knows more than what she was leading on, right? So she quickly went from a witness to a person of interest to now a suspect.
Right. Also, when you guys, got this third person and rescued the baby, was there anyone else at the residence, or at any time was there anyone else that had contact with the baby?
We'll get into that, when we can. Carrillo, the suspect that with the baby carrier, he was at the residence when we found and located baby Brandon.
Do any of these suspects have criminal histories?
I'm not sure yet. We haven't got that. I myself haven't got that far yet. I'm sure detectives have those answers, and that'll come out in their court proceedings as well. Jesse.
About this being a plan, how long had they planned to carry out?
Again, information that will come out later during court proceedings. We don't know how long they were planning this, how long their plan was in effect, but whatever they planned, momentarily they succeeded, right? And then our people launched into action, and then we got baby Brandon home.
The female, could you talk about the condition of the baby?
One second, Zach.
The female suspect, that is the only one that the family knew. They didn't know the other two at all, or weren't familiar with them. I know you said the one, Korea, they were not familiar with the other one as well.
I got some updates this morning. Obviously, the female was with grandma shopping. They did know her, a friend of the family. I'm not certain yet if they know the other two, what their association is, etc. Mom and grandma were shown the video of Camarillo carrying the baby carrier. They did not recognize him at that point. Wearing a mask, hat, hard to recognize even if you run across him a few times in the past. Len?
Yeah, could you talk about the condition of the baby when it was recovered? Was it being cared for? Was it being changed? Was it being fed? And then secondarily, did you ever get any reports of what the reunion was like when officers were able to give the baby back to the mother? I know you can't say much on that, but give us some indication of what that reunion was like.
Again, I was with mom yesterday for a little while when she was with baby Brandon. The baby looked happy. Anyone who is a mother or father, can recognize, hopefully, when a baby's uncomfortable, in distress, etc. As far as I could tell, I'm not an expert, right? But the baby seemed happy, in good spirits, back with mom. Like I said, she was very, very relieved. I'm going to date myself here, but this is it's triumphant for our police department, for the city, for our community. Right? I grew up in an era where missing kids ended up on milk cartons because they were never found, and who knows what happened to them. As a parent, you think worst case, my child is gone. Am I going to see them again? Humongous relief from everyone involved, including myself. Right? Anybody that is a parent, if you have a child, you can imagine how mom felt when she had Brandon back.
Was the suspect caring for the baby as if it was her own?
I don't know. I wasn't there, Len.
I know there was a little.
How was the way that police found the place where the baby was at? Did you guys talked yesterday about Good Samaritans? Was that it, or did you guys knew beforehand a little bit about the location where the baby was at?
We're not going to talk about specific tactics, investigation, what led us to that location. Again, part of the investigation that we will keep a lid on for now. We don't always want the bad guys to know what we know, right? If this person had been alerted or knew that we were coming, that we knew what vehicle they were in, common sense will tell you, what is a person going to do, right? More than likely, They know they've committed a crime. They kidnapped a baby. Now the next thing they want to do is get away. And they're going to have a stronger motivation to get away when they know that the police are coming for them and the police know what vehicle they're in.
So was it
Jesse.
On that, is that part of the reason you didn't issue an Amber Alert? Why didn't that happen?
Initially, we had no vehicle description. As you know, Amber Alerts are the billboards on the freeway, look for this license plate, etc. There was, Steve, remind me, what's it called? The emergency
EMA.
endangered missing persons alert. That was issued, and that was, I mean, everybody got the alerts on their phones. I talked to people that got phone calls. That was issued. It was all hands on deck. We really needed to find baby Brandon. Anyone knows that as time goes on, you know, you're less likely to be successful, right? 20 hours later, solved. Jesse.
Was there a connection, any connection between the three suspects and the baby's father who's incarcerated?
At this time, I don't believe so. Again, that may change later, right? We're still very early in this investigation, even though it's less than 48 hours later. Tamara.
I know that, you guys, this is a huge accomplishment for the department. Are there any plans to do a reunion between mom, baby Brandon, and the officers that rescued him?
I don't know. Like I said, I've been in contact with her. She knows how to reach me. If that does happen later, if she wants, we will let you know. Again, think about this. If this was our sister, right? A relative of ours that's going through this. She doesn't want to be out in public. She doesn't want her face out there right now. She's very traumatized. It's a very, very hard situation. I am in contact with her. If that changes later, I'll let you guys know. Chris.
You talked about her being traumatized, about her not wanting to go home, even when the baby was still in the hospital. But is there a concern for her safety? Does she fear retaliation from people who might be associated with these three suspects that are in custody?
No, I'm not aware of anything like that. We're a phone call away. Detectives, myself, we're in touch with her. She knows, we're available at a moment's notice, so whatever she needs.
Christian, can you talk a little bit more about the relationship between the victim, mother, and these three suspects? You said they were acquaintances. Were they, co-workers, friends? Were they?
As far as I know, the only person that she knows of these three is the female. And as far as I know, she's a family friend. She is the suspect is the person that took grandma shopping. Robert.
This goes to the timetable. Can you tell us a little bit more about this shopping trip? Like, when was it planned? Who made the initial call to say we should go and do this? Things like that?
No, again, part of the investigation, Robert. We're not ready to release that sequence of events yet. That will all come out during the court proceedings that are to follow. Jesse.
When you say she's a friend of the grandmother, how close of a friend? Is it just an acquaintance, or they broke bread together, they've known each other for years, etc.?
That's open interpretation. I don't know how deep their relationship is. Summer.
Anything you could say at this point about the vehicle description that was released and the vehicles at the scene? We've heard that there was a tip put in because someone had recognized the vehicle based on the description online.
There was a tip that came in associated to that vehicle. There was an alert issued by the CHP. Minutes after that alert was issued, our covert detectives located the car. And I'm talking about, maybe 90 seconds. That alert was taken down because, again, what I just talked about, we didn't want that person to know that we knew. So that's why that alert went away. Social media, news, you can post something for 5 seconds and someone's going to grab it. Just because you delete it doesn't mean it's gone. So we were already watching the vehicle. We knew where the vehicle was when that tip came in. Does that make sense?
So
Do I need to make that any more clear for anybody?
Can we tell that tip came in because someone saw that Twitter or that information posted
That's a
on
better
CHP?
that's a better question for that person that called in the tip. I don't have that information.
To clarify, you knew where the vehicle was, you were watching it when you received that call that it was there.
Yes, we already knew.
Oh, okay.
Going back to the surveillance video, what was the time lapse between when he was being spotted walking in with the empty carrier and the time he walked away with the baby in the carrier? How much time elapsed?
I'm just going to guess, 1-2 minutes, maybe even seconds. I mean, as quickly as, now that I'm more familiar with the layout of that apartment complex, it was an upstairs apartment. In the time she walked down to the vehicle, grabbed some groceries, walked up. I don't know how fast she moves. Again, all speculative, but very, very quick. another thing I really want to emphasize, right? Grandma did everything right here, right? This could happen to anybody that has a young child. You know, we've all heard the stories. You guys have covered them. Someone left their vehicle warming up with a baby in the car, and they walked into the house to get a cup of coffee, and all of a sudden someone stole the car. Someone steals a car, and they drive away, and they realize there's a baby in the back. Grandma did the right thing. They went shopping. She took the baby inside first before anything. Thought the baby was safe in the apartment. You know, she was not privy. She did not know about this plan. At this time, we don't believe she's involved at all, right? These people, coordinated effort, planned, took baby Brandon. You know, Grandma did exactly what we want people to do, right? Make the baby safe. I mean, it's tough. Single parents, if you're doing it by yourself, you can't carry groceries and a baby sometimes at the same time. Go ahead, Robert.
You mentioned that you know that it was premeditated in terms of the preparation. Did it look like they had a post-kidnap plan? Like, did they know someplace where they were going and maybe everything got thwarted because the word got out so fast?
I'm not sure. Again, part of the investigation as well. We're lucky. We worked very fast. There was, like I said, from patrol officers to detectives to the FBI to members of the county search and rescue team, there was a lot of work being done that wasn't in the public eye that was happening. Again, number one goal, we wanted to find this baby. I mean, there's mothers and fathers that work here that were part of this investigation. I wish I was able to record the moment when we all found out that he was found, right? I mean, it was elation. Everyone was relieved. So to answer your question, I don't know, Robert.
Christian, is there
I have a question about the carrier. So we saw the suspect getting in the house with the carrier. Was this carrier used to put the baby on, or what was the reason he had it already?
Obviously, he knew he was going there to take baby Brandon. I don't know if he thought he was going to be a little bit more, less suspicious using the baby carrier. I don't know. I haven't talked to this person, so.
What can you tell us about why they kidnapped the baby? Were they looking for money, looking to raise?
Again, I think I answered that question when someone asked about what the motive was. It's still an investigation that will come to light throughout these court proceedings, I imagine.
Yeah, you mentioned the video that we all have shows the baby, not being in there. Is there also video available after the fact, after the kidnapping? Did
No,
the
I have to
same
check on
camera
that.
angle also record?
I believe there is. I don't think we've released it there, but I do believe we have video of him leaving with the baby.
Did they take any other items from the house?
Not that I'm aware of, Lynn.
Can you speak more? We saw members or people who had vests on that said that they were part of the gang unit. They were carrying evidence out of that home that was invaded. Can you speak more to that? Is there an investigation independent of this abduction, I guess, going on at that residence?
So I'll clarify that too. Good question. Thank you for asking. I saw the same thing you saw. Again, child abduction, 3 months old. Anyone that's readily available, anyone that could come to work, that can help us with this investigation, members of the gang unit, our SWAT team, we need you to come to work. So, they have particular equipment that identifies them as, gang detectives, and that's what they were wearing during this operation. There is no nexus to gangs or anything like that. These were detectives that work here for us in the gang unit that were assisting with the investigation.
When the suspects were found, did they look like they wanted to leave San Jose, or were they just acting like they wanted to be here? Or
I don't have that information. We good? Anything else? Thank you very much. I appreciate it.